views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Hello and welcome to the American Veteran. My name is Dale Parrish. I'm your host. My co-host here on my left is Bud Mendenhall, and we have three guests with us today. Across the table is Carl Fowler, and then we have Lynn Shady, and in the middle here is Dave Martin. We're all members of the Korean War Veterans Association, Indiana Chapter 1. Today we're going to talk about the Tell America. Lynn is the Tell America chairman. Carl is our second vice commander, and I always leave Bud out. He's our judge advocate. Dave and I is just members,
Right.
quiet members. Lynn, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about the Tell America, what it is?
Tell America is a program that's been set up by the National Korean War Association to go into the schools all the way from elementary on up through high school to tell about the Korean War. The Korean War, you know, is known as the Forgotten War because it was between World War II and Vietnam. It doesn't get a lot of publicity, and our goal is to get the story out about the Korean War that lasted 3 years from 1950, June 25th, all the way up to July 27th. Of 1953, when there was a ceasefire, which is still in effect today. There's still problems in Korea with the North, but our goal is to get out and tell about the Korean War. That's our goal. So we usually do about 12 schools a year. Anyway, I've been involved with Tell America probably since 2006. We've had the program with the Indiana Chapter 1, goes way back to probably the late 90s when another veteran who passed away, Jim Snyder, had the program, did a great job, and I helped him out with it. And after he passed on, then they asked me to take it over. So we do a great program. I have a real good publicity lady in Marianne Rimke that contacts a lot of the schools to get programs set up for us. And without her help, you know, we really, it's just hard to get in a lot of the schools anymore with the situation in a lot of the public schools with downsizing and so forth. But Mariana does her best to get us into the schools, and I really appreciate her help. So anyway, I've enjoyed doing these programs. I just have one program left to do this year, and that's this afternoon out at St. Jude's Catholic School. And then we'll be done for the summer season. The school will be out, and then we'll probably get a lot of calls this fall, especially around Veterans Day, when we do a lot of programs for the different schools. And anyway, the Tell America program, there's probably out of the 237 active Korean War chapters throughout the country, there's 91 Tell America programs. So anyway, it gets, there's more involved. Each year there's a few more chapters pick up the Tell America program. And so that's where we're at with it at the present time. I don't know, you want me to share a few stories about some of the programs?
I think one of the highlights of the program is the flag folding.
Oh, yeah. The flag folding, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's, why don't we do the flag folding and show them what it is.
Okay, as we go into these schools, with their permission, of course, in the classrooms, these kids, most of them have a flag hanging on the wall someplace.
Sure.
So they're aware somewhat of, of the flag and what it means. But we try to teach them the etiquette, use of the flag and so forth.
That's great.
And the kids really do pay attention, and we enjoy it. One downside of the thing of Tell America in schools is we only get like a period, 50 minutes to an hour, to tell our stories, and lots of us have lengthy stories to tell that are interesting, and we just don't have enough time to do it. But all in all, it's a good experience, and I think the kids really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I always appreciate Carl as our main flag folder. And, a lot of us aren't that good at it, but I really appreciate Carl helping us out with the flag foldings. And that's one thing that the schools always request, because there's a lot of people don't know what the 13 folds mean. And we explain that when we fold the flag.
I think there's more folding the flag that meets the eye, too. There's a lot to that.
And after we fold the flag, Lynn has donated quite a few flags to the schools.
Yeah.
And they always like to get a flag from us.
Yeah.
So that goes over pretty good with the principal or vice principal or whoever.
Yeah.
Saves them a little money, and everything. And
Yeah.
it works out, and we're glad to have our flag flying over their schools.
Sure.
It all works out to the good.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if you want
You want us to fold the flag?
to, yeah, why don't we do that now?
Do an example. We'll put on a little demonstration here of folding the flag. Might mention our white gloves.
Yeah.
Take a look.
I don't know if you've ever noticed or not, but on television, some television shows or a military funeral, the honor guard pays meticulous attention to fold the flag 13 times. And also, they always wear white gloves in respect to the flag. As they fold the flag, I'll read the.
I'll explain a little bit about the flag here. Your red stands for blood, the white for purity. The field of blue is for the stars of the 50 states. And
Can you hear him or not?
if you go down to the fourth row, this star right here represents the state of Indiana, the 19th state in the Union. And also the 21 gun salute that they do at military funerals, if you add up the sum of 1776, it comes out to 21. And that's how the 21 gun salute came about.
first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all our enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day and to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to motherhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold in the eyes of the Hebrew citizen represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold in the eyes of the Christian citizen represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, those who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privilege, and freedoms we enjoy today. That concludes the flag folding ceremony. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Korean War Veterans Association, I present you this flag for the part of the American Veterans Program.
Thank you, Lynn. Now I can see where that goes over big in schools. A lot of kids probably never see that. They don't know.
They don't know about formal ceremonies.
Right.
That flag holding goes back a long ways, and it shows lots of respect for the flag.
And a lot of teachers didn't know about that either.
I know.
When I was standing there, a lot of them.
Nobody teaches them.
Right.
That's all. So that's part of our purpose.
That flag is recognized the world over.
Yes, it
for
is.
the
You know,
freedoms.
we see flags in the parades and hanging from people's doors on flag poles and everything this way. To us as veterans, being in the military, flag means so much more, I think, than the common individual.
Yeah.
And when we do these flag etiquette programs in schools, we try to bring our feelings, respect for that flag to those students. And I think a lot of them get it. A lot of them understand that that isn't just a piece of cloth, you know. That represents our country, our fallen comrades. You know,
It really galls me when I see somebody burning it or stomping on it.
You know, if they're looking at that flag as just a piece of cloth,
Yeah.
and they're not looking at it the same way I look at it.
Right.
Now, if they buy their piece of cloth, the flag, and they burn it, you can't really say too much about that because of the freedoms that we have preserved for them.
Yeah.
But if I have a flag in a parade or something this way, and somebody comes to desecrate that flag, they're going to have me to contend with because that's not their flag, it's not their property. And if I'm carrying that flag, I'm going to defend it.
No, you bet. You bet.
I notice when we do a lot of parades that when you go down the street, people are supposed to stand. You know, if they're in lawn chairs or something and you're going down the street with in the parade, they're supposed to stand and pay respect to the flag. But a lot of times they don't do that. I don't think they realize that they're supposed to do that. Sometimes we kind of take our hands and motion for them to stand up. But that is respect for the flag, is for them to stand up and put their hand on their heart, especially when the national anthem is played.
Yeah.
And
You
a
know,
lot
I
of
go to
people
different,
don't realize that.
Yeah, you go to different towns and you can see the amount of people who stand up in different towns. How more will stand up in this town.
Yeah.
Then you go to the next town, maybe
Yeah.
not as much will stand up, but the little
Yeah.
kids will. A
Yeah.
lot of little kids will get up without their parents telling them.
Yeah,
Right.
and they get that from the school, I presume.
You see some old veterans stand up.
Yeah, you do.
We
You see
always
veterans.
that in the
Yeah.
parade. You see the
Yeah.
old veterans will stand up,
Yeah.
lots of them will salute,
Yeah, they
and you
will.
can just say, there's a veteran.
You can
There's
tell,
a veteran.
yeah.
There's a veteran. You can pick them out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you sure can.
What was some of them stories you was gonna get
Well,
into?
I was going to share a few stories about our Tell America. I remember we was at one school up north, and it was elementary school. We had a question and answer period, and the one student asked, when you're in a foxhole, where do you go to the bathroom? And, you know, of course, you don't get out of the foxhole unless you want to get shot at. That was one story, and then of course another one was how to, you know, we're older, and they said, we're wondering how we, at our age, how we fought the battles. But you know, we're veterans, and they just didn't realize that, you know,
The
we
time
were
span
drafted and so forth.
doesn't get them.
Yeah, but one of the good stories is always about the Tootsie Roll story. We always had a Marine that he was in engineering. Bob Myers, he has since moved out of the area, but whenever he told his story about the Tootsie Roll, it caught the kids' attention. And it all took place up at Chosin Reservoir in North Korea, up toward the Yalu River, where the temperature had gotten down to probably maybe 40, 50 below zero. And they were surrounded by the Chinese when the Chinese came into the war. And they had a code word for ammunition, which was Tootsie Roll. And they was waiting for an airdrop from the Air Force. And lo and behold, when they made the airdrop, here was all these Tootsie Rolls that came out with parachutes. And they said, well, we can't use Tootsie Rolls for ammunition. But they were, in a way, actually a lifesaver, because the Tootsie Roll, what had happened is the Chinese were shooting out all the gas tanks on a lot of the vehicles, and the gas was leaking out, and they needed these vehicles to get the wounded out to Hanan along a North Korean shore to be evacuated. So they took these Tootsie Rolls and heated them up. A lot of, you know, they actually put them in their armpits or chewed them to get them soft. And then they stuck these Tootsie Rolls in these gas tanks. And of course they froze right away and sealed the gas tanks and preserved the fuel. So in a way they was a lifesaver, which is, You know, this always catches the students' attention, and when they always sent, a lot of the teachers have the students send a little letter that we receive about our program, and they always bring up the Tootsie Roll story as their favorite story. So that's something that really sticks with them.
Bill
So I wanted to
Hollinger-
share that.
Bill Hollinger always had a little bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
Tootsie
Yeah.
Rolls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we had Tootsie Rolls that they passed out to the students after the program.
Somehow the kids all know what Tootsie Rolls are. I don't understand that, but they all know.
Yeah, they all know. They're a little smaller than what they used to be when I remember, but there's still Tootsie Rolls out there. So that's one of the stories that the kids really enjoy.
The kids pay attention, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
do.
sure do.
Now,
Sometimes they do better than the older students.
when we go in, I have a helmet, steel pot, and I always take that in school with me and pass that around to the students so they get the weight of it and realize that's what we're wearing on our heads and so on this way. And they all have to tap it a little bit, you know, and pass it around. They get a kick out of that. Just realizing that we wore those on our head.
You know, it's funny. After a while, you didn't notice it on your head.
Well,
Yeah,
it was there for a reason, and you just you left it alone. You didn't mess with it, you know.
yeah, that's for sure.
But the weight of it, you know, at first you notice the weight, but after a while, you forget it.
Yeah.
You know, as veterans of the Korean War, we didn't have body armor at all, that I recall.
We had flak jackets.
Flak jackets you did
I guess that's what you call
on
it.
the front line? Okay, the rest of us did. But we were at a Tell-America school, and some of the guys came in there in full dress uniform from Iraq. And they had the Kelvan, is it, or
Cavalier?
Kevlar,
Yeah.
Kelvar
Calvar, yeah.
on his
Mhm.
flak jacket. And their helmets was as heavy as ours and that. And the weight they carry amazed me, because the flak jacket, I picked it up and it's got these plates in it of this Kelvar. And it is heavy. And to imagine the
heat.
heat that they're over
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and wearing all this
Right.
protective gear, I can't admire the veterans that are over there today near enough. But I learned what they're doing through veterans in the Tell-America program that we got to talk to, you know.
Yeah.
So we get to see the Vietnam veterans and so on this way. This Tell-America program pulls lots of that
Yeah.
together. Pulls lots of it together.
How many speakers do you usually get veterans to come and talk?
Well, probably a total, not all at the same time, of course. You're usually fortunate to get 4 speakers per program, but I have a total probably about 12 that get to share their stories at different times. But you know, that's our problem is we're limited on time at the schools. Now, if we do nursing homes or other clubs, why there's no time limit and everybody gets to tell their story. We always like to have a question and answer period, and we try to work that in too. But I'd say a total of about 12 people that have good stories to share.
Are they mostly in classrooms or auditoriums?
Well, it varies. We like to have them in an auditorium or library if possible, because you have a little more room, especially for the flag folding. And anyway, but we do have them in the classroom already, where that's a little bit crowded. But I'd say it's about 50-50 as far as
You know, it'd be nice if you had time to tell that story about Mariana crawling in behind you.
Well,
Yeah,
sure, because I wasn't here.
That was during my speech.
Oh, that's, oh, okay, well, we'll hold it till that. That's, I
Wow.
think that's good.
But
She, there was one of the members that had a cough, and Mary Ann was going to get some cough drops to him, and she thought she would crawl and
Be out of camera.
be out of camera's view, but the cameraman, or I don't know if it was on purpose or accidental, but she showed up real big. I shouldn't say big. She showed up.
Mariana's not a large person.
This is tape too, Dave.
Yeah. But, I think she's a
I'm
little.
getting back at her.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Yeah, Mariana's got a good sense of humor, so she probably just laughed it off. But also, I wanted to mention, we do have a 12-minute VCR tape that we share with the schools. It came from the National, and it highlights the Korean War, how it got started, and how it ended up with the fall of the Berlin Wall. And a lot of times, in schools, we don't have enough time to show that and still have our speakers. So I'll drop the tape off ahead of time so the teacher can show the students this tape, and then they've got an idea what the Korean War is actually about. But it's a great tape, lasts like say 12 minutes, but it really goes through what the Korean War was all about. So.
You know, I read someplace, and I'd done some figuring, that 1 out of 11 was either wounded or killed in Korea. 1 out of every 11. That's more than World War II, much more than Vietnam.
Yeah, and that was a 3-year war.
3-year war.
They were killing them off fast.
It's a real shame, but that's the way life is.
54,246 died during the war.
And
But we've lived long enough to see the results of the effort that was put forth in Korea by our troops and the allies that helped fight. And, we're asked the question, was it worth it? I think we'd have to answer yes. There was a sacrifice, perhaps, but it turned out that it was for the good.
Yeah. I wasn't wounded or I didn't get frostbite.
Right.
well, I had good duty. I was occupation after the ceasefire. Had good duty and got to know a lot of the Korean people.
Yeah.
And they were great people. And, Korea today is probably about the 11th, 12th leading industrialized nation in the world,
Yeah.
thanks to us. And the Korean community here in Fort Wayne, they really respect us.
Yes, they do.
And right across the street over here is First Pres Church.
Yeah.
And they have a Korean service there, and they always invite us to a pre-Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen,
And
I hate to say it,
yeah.
we're out of time.
Oh,
Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the program. What's great about America is our freedom, and we all need to give thanks to our troops who every day have placed their lives on the line to protect and preserve our freedom. And for they know better than anyone that freedom is not free. Thank you and good night.